That will take us to agenda item 15, Brian Rambosk, or I got that correctly?
Mr. Rambosk is my landlord.
Okay.
I live at the residence that's on complaint.
Okay, and your name is?
Kevin McCleary.
Okay. What's the last name?
McCleary.
McCleary, M-C-C-L-E-A-R-Y?
2 E's. Very good, though.
Okay, thanks. All right, we'll follow the same procedure as before, so if the county's ready to proceed, I think we have Officer Leonard up.
Officer Leonard.
Rhonda Leonard, Certified Code Enforcement Officer, Charlotte County. This case was brought to you back on December 2nd, 2015 for junk conditions, unlicensed trailers and vehicles. The inspection I did on February 7th, there was a lot of debris in the yard. It's mostly all tree debris. I believe they have maybe a landscaping business and bring logs and such home. The trailers are parked in the right-of-way. One of them still does not have a tag on it. I did drive by there yesterday. I took 2 photos yesterday showing that it is still in the same condition.
I'm sorry, are you still there?
Yes.
Yep. Anything further from the county at this time?
Nothing further.
Mr. McCleary, do you want to tell me what's going on?
I'd like to see the photos and the original photos that were taken to show that there are, and from the original photos taken of the oak pile, all week we worked on that and got that dwindled down to, I think, 4 logs that are left that I will be finishing today. On top of that, they are not on my property. My neighborhood is being torn up due to construction work, and as the construction work's going on, they are cutting woods down to make ways for retention ponds. And as county's doing that, we go to what is coming up in the middle of this month called Wani Festival on the Swanee River. That is a week-long concert where we burn wood the whole time. So as county's dropping these woods, I've stopped by, asked them to drop the oak logs at my lot next door that was just sold. The owner of the new lot told me that we could use that vacant lot to drop oak logs on. I'm confused on why I'm being fined for something that was okayed and what really is going on. I do have a truck. My wife just awared me, I'm sorry. I will get the truck out of there and the unregistered trailer. Miscommunication.
The trailer is off the property. Okay. The trailer that is on property is registered. The tag is stolen, which you could look back in Charlotte County DMV records.
Ma'am, if you're going to offer testimony, I don't believe that you were sworn in, so you'd have to do that and then come up here.
The trailer's off property. There is a truck on there. The truck just went out, I believe, October of registration because I'm having motor problems, and I went out and bought a new truck. And again, I'm not here to try to get the $100. I'll pay the $100. I'm inquisitive on why I'm being fined for the lot next door and there being oak over there. Although, yes, it's my oak, but that owner gave me permission to put the oak there. And then the construction workers that are working on Midway right now brought big logs there. She is right. There have been big logs dropped off, like 3-foot round oak logs. But I'm having the construction workers come drop that off there. That's not me doing tree work, coming to drop my own personal tree work on the property. That's the construction workers cutting down numerous sets of woods and them just dropping the oak off first, and I'm having to pay to dump it. And then me splitting it, stocking the oak up for going camping, concerts, so on and so forth.
And when did the county start the construction that you've described?
I know where you're going with this. I believe, I want to say a year ago roughly. I'm not sure. I don't have an exact date. But yes, I had a 2015 thing that came up. We cleaned that up, got that taken care of. We were passed off. We got the okay. Then they tried telling me I couldn't have X amount of wood on my property. We argued with code enforcement. Code enforcement told me that I could only have X amount of wood. We won that argument because you can't tell me how much wood I burn on a daily basis, or going to concerts, or my friends coming over to burn it, or me having a fire at my house. Then they told me it was a fire problem, so we got a hold of the fire department. The fire department said they had no problem with any amount of wood. It could be stacked up to my roof. And then it went on to, I believe, licensing. Like I had to get a permit to get, so we got a hold of permit. And basically I was just thrown around the bush because inevitably, look, I'll agree, I have a lot of oak on my property. We had it stacked nice and neat, but through the time that we've worked on Midway, they have been coming to drop, and they still come and drop big, massive oak logs on, and it takes me a little bit to get it cut up. I did just get in an accident. I did just hurt my back, which is no excuse, but I'm going through physical therapy, and it's really hard to go out there with a chainsaw with a 3-foot bar on it and cut it. But the whole point of the argument is look at my whole neighborhood. I live in the middle of the ghetto of Charlotte County, and you're harassing me about a little wood on the side of my house? When the whole neighborhood is tore up? I wish I walked around and took pictures of the different ponds and stuff, or the different woods that they cut down, and they have it sitting there for 9 months looking like crap.
Well, I'm sure they'll get to it, but let me ask you another question, if I may. When did you start putting the logs on the other property? When did you get permission for that?
Roughly 6 months ago. You can pull it up. They sold that property. The new owner of the property came over, asked us what was going on. We told him what was going on. He said that we could freely throw oak on that property until he starts the process of building again, because he plans on putting a house in that vacant lot that was tore down because of Charlie. He told me I had free reign of that property to do whatever I wanted to on it.
Okay.
And that's, I believe, where the oak problem comes from, because that's where all the oak was laid out. And I'm not denying that. There really was a massive amount of oak. And if you have a picture from the new complaint to yesterday as you came by.
Yesterday, right there along the house, that pile that's all in there.
Huh?
Hang on.
This is all along the house right there. That's over close to your property. That's not over on the.
That is in the field. My property line,
This is not over here.
this is all stacked up nice and neat.
No, it's not.
What do you mean, no, it's not?
It's not.
Well, look, Mr. McCleary, and
That trailer, okay, that trailer's been moved.
Can you tell me, is this the way it looked?
Yes, this is the way it looked.
Okay, can we get?
And then I went through, and you see all this oak that's right here, which is a very crappy picture. You're 50 feet away from this.
I understand that.
So you say you understand, but you're not seeing the amount of wood that's here versus what I already cleaned up and what I've already taken off property.
let's follow the procedure, and I'll give you a chance to explain, but do you have any objection to me considering that photograph and in putting it into evidence?
I have an objection because it's not a real depiction, and they're trying to tell me that the property still has the problem. This trailer's been moved. That's no longer on property, but that's not in the picture.
All right, so let's do this. I'm going to admit that photograph into evidence. You can explain it to me, but it's helpful if I can see what you're talking about.
Yes.
And so we'll mark that as...
Because I cleaned everything else up, they only took a picture of the oak. So now all you're seeing is the complaint of the oak. Which I believe there's only 4 oak logs left over there.
Sure. Now, this was taken...
We also put up lettuce.
Give me one second. This was taken on or about April 4th?
That was taken yesterday, yes, and the photos that were submitted with the affidavit of noncompliance were on February 7th, which is the day in question.
That was my next question for Mr. McCleary. Mr. McCleary, these photographs that we're looking at, did the property look substantially similar to this back in February 7th of this year?
No, it looked way worse.
All right,
There
well,
was a lot more on the property that I cleaned up.
The question,
There's a very nice picture. I don't know if you can see that or not, what I'm looking at. But there's a close-up of the amount of wood that's actually was there versus what's there now.
No. They gave it to us in case we need it. Okay.
So the only one we're taking is this one.
All right.
And that says 270. How many pictures are on it?
There's 4 altogether, 2 pages.
Okay, that's what they're displaying now, so the
Okay.
one and the new
Excuse me one second, I got to think about an issue here.
While you're thinking, I am more than willing to pay the $100. That's not the issue.
No, I understand, but I want to try to help you out with this as well.
And I'd like to, as we're here, I'd like to figure out, while we have all of zoning or county here, figure out if they can tell me how much wood I'm allowed to have on the property or not. because that's a rigorous well, I can't even talk right now, I'm so worked up, I'm sorry. That's a continuous problem that I keep having with county. County keeps telling me, yes, I'm allowed to have wood, but they keep trying to restrict me on the amount of wood. I do have lattice that we started to put up yesterday, and we have lattice that covers it, which county came to the conclusion with, as long as I cover it with the lattice that you start to see on that picture, that they had no problem with it. We've just been lackadaisy, completely neglected, which I'll agree. We need to put the lattice back up, which helps hide all the wood.
Do we have photographs of the property on February 7th?
Yes, that's one of them that's showing on the screen right now.
Okay, that's
That's the trailer that was out in the swale area without a tag on it. There have been times where it's actually been on the sidewalk, blocking the sidewalk. I get multiple complaints of the sidewalk being blocked, the debris, the unlicensed trailers.
And the photographs we're looking at, those accurately depict the conditions of the property as of February 7th of
Yes, sir. Yes, Your Honor.
2017? I've got copies of those. I'm just going to go ahead and mark those as Charlotte County Composite 2. The affidavit that we're here about, Mr. McCleary, goes back to what was the condition of the property on February 7th. I understand that you've made some changes and you're working toward it, and that's wonderful, but and we urge you to continue with that, but these are the photographs as of that date.
There's no arguing with that.
Yeah, I'm kind of compelled to go ahead and affirm the
arguing with that.
affidavit, but maybe we can meet with somebody from the code enforcement folks today.
I did that, and I keep 2015 we started with this problem, and I keep dealing with the problem where county keeps telling me, even if the wood's stacked up nice and neat, even if it's stacked in nice ricks, split, unsplit, separated with lattice behind it, I'm not allowed to have that. Which then I ask county for the code that says I'm not allowed to have that, and they tell me that their bosses will call me back, and I never get a phone call back. 2015 I've been dealing with this problem, and then they defer the problem over to the fire department because it's a fire hazard. We talk to the fire department, then we talk to licensing. We've talked to licensing, they tell me that they have no problem with it. So I go back to, look, I'm not arguing, I'll pay the $100. I'll get the property cleaned up. It'll finishly be cleaned up today. On my word, it'll finishly be cleaned up today with the rest of the lattice up. I just need to know before I leave if I'm allowed to have stacked wood over there. That's all I care about. Can I have stacked wood? And what does code tell me? How much am I allowed to have? That's all I care about. I'll pay the fine. I'll get the property cleaned up. I need to know legally how much wood I can have stacked up on the side of my house.
Okay.
And what I can't have stacked up. If not, we're going to continuously have this problem, and I don't want to have to keep paying, nor do I, want to keep having complaints. Not only is it nuisance for her to keep coming by, it's a nuisance for me to have to keep paying $100 too.
I understand that, Mr. McClure. Can somebody just take a few minutes and walk them through what the affidavit reflected and point out the particular sections of the code? So I'm going to ask staff to meet with you while you're here, while you have a captive audience of the people who have the know to be able to help explain that to you so we don't have to have you come back again, okay?
Okay, if we come up to the same problem that I've dealt with since 2015, then what do?
Well,
Mr. McCleary, you're not allowed to have wood.
Then
Okay.
let's address it at that time. I'm trying to make sure that by the time you leave here today that you have a full understanding of what's expected.
I do. The trailers can't be there, can't have cars on the sidewalk. I have to have tags on everything that's on property. I got that much.
Okay.
My only problem comes down to, again, I'm not denying none of that. The only thing I'm denying is the pictures they're showing don't justify the amount of wood I actually did get off property and cleaned up. And how much wood am I allowed to have on property before it comes to a problem, as long as it's stacked up nice and neat. I realize I can't have cords upon cords of wood just miscellaneously thrown on my yard. But as long as it's stacked up with a piece of lattice behind it, yes, you can see through the lattice. Yes, I got that. How much can I have there? What am I allowed to do? That's all I care about.
Well, hopefully I can get you some answers for that today, but based on the photographs of February 7th.
Again, I'll pay the $100.
My hands are kind of tied.
I'll pay the $100. I'm not worried about the $100.
Well,
I
that would
came here to specifically get an answer of how much wood I can have on my property, because I'm done being told that I can't have one on my property, but then asking codes and not getting an answer.
Okay.
Thank you.
Mrs. McCleary, would you approach this podium if you have something to say?
She has to be sworn in.
Yeah, you have to be sworn in, too. Would you cut yourself?
Do you solemnly swear the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? Please, if so, please answer, I do.
I do.
Ma'am, do you need some first aid for that?
No, I just caught myself. I didn't even know that.
Okay.
It's not that the wood was not allowed to be on property, it's that it was unaesthetic to the neighborhood. We have not been told that it's not allowed, it's been told that it's unaesthetic to the neighborhood. They want us to put it in the backyard, but they couldn't force us to, and that was from their director, Sean Horton, who specified that. The wood was not really the problem. What their problem right now is the trailers, which, yes, like he said, is our fault. We accept that problem. We have moved all that. I've been on him about not having it on the property. Yes. I just wanted to clarify, because that was incorrect. It's not that it's not allowed, it's unaesthetic to the neighborhood.
And because it's unaesthetic, they keep trying to tell me I can't have it.
I understand I can't really adjudicate things that are in the future,
I know.
you know, but I have to take like a snapshot in time as of February
got you.
7th, and that was the basis for the ruling.
Yes.
If we can't get it worked out today, there's other remedies you may have, but, you know, I'm trying to at least get you in touch so that we can have some dialogue between you and the
Thank you.
and the
Seems to
staff.
be a big problem in Charlotte County.
Yeah.
There's a dialogue between them and us, and then getting actual codes.
All right, well-
So I'll go over there, I'll see what we can figure out, and I'll stay here if we don't figure it out.
All right, well, I won't be able to hear anything further
It's
on
fine.
it, but,
Thank you.
okay, thank you, Mr. and Mrs. McCleary.
Are you going to rule on it?
Yes, I'm accepting the affidavit as stated. I thought I said that, but
I'm
maybe I
sorry.
didn't. Okay.
This is number 25.
Okay, well, let's go to agenda